So I was thinking, doing a video, and I've done other videos about Asian men. And they say Asian men are most likely to be single. And then I'm like, why are Asian men single? Doesn't make sense to me. But then in my experiences, some Asian men, you think they're the nicest guy. Turns out they're cheating on you and they have a side chick, secret family. And then they're like, but then those guys were never single. But then it's like the nice guys that are loyal, like those nice Asian guys. It's like they're single because they're always turning down dates and stuff. And then when somebody's like basically coming out saying like, I like you, but they're not saying it, it's like they're trying to like go out with you, but then you're like kind of awkward and like shy. Because it's like that thing that especially East Asian guys do it a lot. I've noticed this with like Korean and Chinese guys and Japanese guys a lot. Like a girl will be flirting with them so hard and then they're just like awkward, but then they're talking to their friends and they're like, oh, I can't get a date. Because I had a friend that used to do this, and there was this girl, she was like going after this guy like so hard, and it was so funny because it was like I would laugh, and then he's like, oh, I like her, but she's telling you out she likes you, and she's like flat out saying it. And then like these guys are like not saying anything, and it's like these girls like them, they like them, but you're single by choice, but you don't want to be. And then I'm like, I don't understand this. And then you piss off the girl, and then the girl doesn't like you anymore because she's like telling you, like first she was like just like trying to hang out with you and all kind of stuff, and then the next thing you know, she's flat out telling you. And then you're nervous and shy, and then you don't say anything, and then but you like the girl too. Because it's one thing, I've had people like flat out tell me they like me, I don't like them, so I'm single. And it's like they try to, and it's like, yeah, no thank you. But I've never had a guy tell me that he liked me, that I liked, and then I was still single. That I do not get that about Asian guys. But I do understand why some Asian guys have to be careful. Because, like, if you're a successful guy or whatever, and you might think somebody's just after you for your money. But that's not even just Asian guys. It's all guys. But I really don't understand that. And if anybody wants to comment, subscribe, or whatever, and try and explain this to me, and maybe we could have a conversation or something. But I do not understand why do... And then, like, the weird thing is, like, Asian guys are like, oh, I like these girls of, like, all these different cultures and stuff. And it's like, okay, those girls like you too. They tried to date you. You rejected them. Because, like, most of the time when you see, like, an Asian guy with, like, somebody, it's, like, because that guy is, like, outspoken and he's, like, everything and, like, all out there. But then there are, like, those guys, like, they're nice and they're friendly, and it's like they might like you, but they won't tell you. And then if you tell them, you still won't say anything, or you won't make that next move. So it's like, how can that relationship work? So, because, I don't know, because, like, there was this one Chinese guy, I was considering dating him. He seemed so nice. And then he, like, blindsided me because he's like, oh, I want to go out with you, I like you. And then I was just joking with him, and then he's like, oh, he slept with prostitutes. And I'm like, no. Because it was like, I don't know, I was just surprised by that when he said that, because it was like, I was joking and then you're serious. But then there was this other guy, he was Indian, and then I was joking with him, and then he was like, he sleeps with prostitutes, his friends sleep with prostitutes. And I was like, yeah, no. But I remember when I was younger, I used to date a lot of Indian guys, and they were like the nicest, sweetest guys, and they were like virgins and stuff. And they were like so sweet, but it was like, I liked you, you said you liked me, but then like you never made an effort and stuff, and it was like you were too shy, and it was like, I didn't understand, why were you so shy? It was like, we both said we liked each other and everything, and you wanted to date me, but you were like just too shy. I personally don't understand like the super shy thing. Like once like you guys make it clear you like each other, you want to be together, but then you're too shy to be together. I don't get that. I really don't get that. And that goes from East Asia to West Asia to South Asia. I've noticed that. Yeah, because I've dated Asian guys from China, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Iran. I have not had any good experience with dating guys from Iran. I've just had horrible experiences. I even dated a guy from Syria. Or dated a guy from Afghanistan. I've done videos about the guy from Afghanistan. I only dated like one guy from Afghanistan, but I consider dating some more guys from Afghanistan. Because it's like those guys from Afghanistan, it's like they give you get like the vibe. It's like, oh, you're so cool, you're so nice and everything. And then it's like, I'm thinking Afghanistan is this one way, the way the news portrayed it. But it's like these guys out here from Afghanistan that I meet, and they're just like hoeing around. And it's like, I don't know, am I just meeting like the wrong guys from Afghanistan? I did meet one guy, I don't know if he was a hoe, but he was nice. He was my Uber driver. Yeah, because I've met guys all different levels from Afghanistan, all different levels. Yeah, generally like Indian guys I've dated, they've pretty much all been well off except for like one or two, where they've been well off like an engineer and stuff. Yeah, I've dated some guys from China. Well, some guys from China and some guys that were American born, and they were relatively well off, like engineers generally, accountants, that kind of thing. I've dated a lot of engineers, accountants. Yeah, not even just like computer engineers, like mechanical engineers and different things. Yeah, so I'm open to dating interesting people, all different careers and different things. And yeah, if anybody has any tips on dating Asian men, I would like to know. Because it's like, I date everybody, I'm open to everybody. But I found it's the hardest to date an Asian man. But surprisingly, it's the easiest to date a Latino man. Because a Latino man, you can just like see him and like you're cool, you're hanging out, you're laughing, you're friendly. And then like he's nice, and who knows, you might be engaged in a few months. But an Asian man, it seems really hard to date an Asian man. I don't understand it, because it's like you guys like each other, everything's good, it seems. And where in other cultures, it'll be like, okay, you like each other, you're gonna hang out, you're gonna do this. And it's like you might hang out like once, and then like he gets like really nervous, and it's just like weird. It's like, why are you so nervous? Like, what happened? But surprisingly, I haven't had that experience with guys from Afghanistan, which where I would think that would be more of an experience I would get from a guy from Afghanistan or maybe Iran. But guys from Afghanistan and Iran, I have noticed, at least the ones I've met, they're not shy at all. They're like, I don't know, they're just trying to get laid from my experience. And that doesn't work because it's like so lame, it's funny. And then the same thing with guys from India. There, a lot of them, because I say some guys from India are like so sweet and nice, but then those guys that you see more that are slutty, they're giving like Indian men a bad name. Because I think there are a lot of really good Indian men out there, but then you're more likely to meet the Indian guy who's cheating on his wife and has like a side family and stuff and all this stuff. Yeah, like I was just on a dating app, and there was this nice guy. He was so cute. He's from Turkey. And then I thought it was so crazy because they just had that earthquake in Turkey. And then it's like the day of that earthquake when all that stuff's coming out. And it's like the day, I think it was like the day of or the day after. And this guy, he's from Turkey. He's married to an Asian American woman. and they've been married like for years. And then I'm like, okay, because at the time I didn't know that he was married when I was talking to him, because I only found out he was married because he put his whole name on the dating app. So I looked him up on Facebook. And then that's when I found out he had a wife, but turns out his wife's not on his Facebook page. So I couldn't find her to tell her. But then it was like, this guy was so cute before I even knew this. And I'm like, he's so cute and everything. And he just seems like such a sweet guy, like where he wouldn't do this. And then I look him up there and I'm like, oh, this guy's an asshole. And then it was like weird because it was like, I was like, let's video chat real quick. And he was in the shower. And then I'm like, why won't you talk? And then he's like, oh, I'm not going to talk. My wife's in the next room. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, because like while we were talking, I was looking him up. And then I'm like, why won't you talk? And then, yeah, because he didn't say that because I video chatted him again to see why he wouldn't talk. And I'm like, why won't you talk? I'm like, because you have a wife. Because I'm thinking like, okay, maybe this is a joke or something. He doesn't have a wife. Because there was no mention of her on his Facebook page. He had pictures of her, but no mention of her. And then that was when he was like, yeah, my wife's in the next room. And I'm like, oh. And he was like, oh, it's just fun. I'm like, you're cheating on your wife. And I think personally, because I've seen this with a lot of Asian men, especially Indian men. Yeah. And I'm not even just talking about Indian men that are in the U.S. I'm talking about Indian men that are in India. But I haven't noticed it too much with Indian men that are in the U.K., which is interesting. Because I watch YouTube and they're talking about like these Indian men are doing all kind of scams all around the world, like in Australia, the UK, and in Canada. But I haven't experienced that. Oh, wait, there was that video that I did about the Indian man that tried to marry me. And then once I told him I wasn't an American citizenship and I could never get him American citizenship, then he ghosted me. And that was so funny. Yeah. But if anybody has any tips on dating Asian men or any comments about this video, let me know, because I'm interested. Because there's like, I just don't know. There's just something about Asian men. And then you always hear about Asian men are most likely to be single and black women. And it's like, from what I can tell, black women are always hitting on Asian men. And then Asian men are like, they like black women, but then there's like no connection, not enough connection. Yeah. Because like when I think about it, it makes me think about San Francisco. Because if you've been to San Francisco, there's a train. Now they have a train. It goes from the T train. It goes from Chinatown to Hunters Point, Bayview Hunters Point. So Chinatown, it is like, as it says in the name, it's a town full of Chinese people. And then, because it ends there, and then it goes to Hunters Point, Bayview Hunters Point, and that's a neighborhood full of black people. So it's a train where it connects. And you would think, okay, with this train connecting, that there'd be like tons of interracial black and Asian couples on there, especially since it's like supposed to be like the fastest way over there, like in between, and they connect, and it's like, you would think there would be like Blasian babies, Blasian couples and all that, or interracial couples, AMBW and all that stuff, but it's like, no. And it was kind of surprising to me. But then you take the 8 or the 8X, that's another bus in San Francisco that goes from another neighborhood where it's I think it's Sunnydale and Chinatown, and it's still not very diverse there either. And it goes through, and these trains, they go through downtown San Francisco. The train goes through downtown in the tunnel, and the 8X bus that goes through, I think it's Sunnydale in there, and then it goes from the college, because the train stops like down, like right in front of the college, where you can get on one of those trains and it'll take you into like, because also the train that goes, because you could transfer trains and go from City College in San Francisco to the Mission, and you were thinking like, okay, why aren't there like Latin and Asian babies, more Latin and Asian babies, more Black and Asian babies, and all this stuff? Is like, it's a big melting pot. And I'm not saying like everybody has to mix, but it's like in a melting pot, diversity and all this stuff, where people have been together for like 100 years or something in San Francisco, or at least since the 50s, where everybody came together and it was like mass people. And even with like Japantown and Fillmore in San Francisco, Fillmore is like a Black neighborhood, and they even built they even have a Eritrean community center there. And then Japantown, and it's like, okay. And then it's not even just Eritreans, because there's a lot of Algerians, Moroccans, Ethiopians in that area, Mediterranean. And then there's Japantown, and you're thinking like cultural melting pot. And it's like, no, not really. Yeah, so it's like kind of weird. It's like all these people are put together. They're not getting with their own people. They're not getting with the people that are different. And it's like they're separate. And I'm just thinking, like, they say Asian men have the hardest time finding someone. So why aren't these Asian men striking gold when they can? Which doesn't make sense to me, because it's like Asian men have come out and said they like Black women, they like Latin women, they like white women or something, but you don't see it. And even they're not even going after the white women, really, because most of the time, like in San Francisco or in the surrounding suburbs, when you see the Asian women, they're with white men most of the time. So it's like, why aren't the Asian men going where they can have success? Because like the Pacific Islander men, they're going where they can have success. They're not going as much, but like they're going to have success and like relationships and stuff. They're more out there saying like, I like you, you like me, let's get together and have a family. Why aren't Chinese men, Japanese men, Korean men, and all these other cultures, and like West Asians, South Asians, and all this other stuff? And then like the other thing I don't get, but that I'll make that in a whole nother video, because it's like people like people. It's like, be cute, have a good personality, and be funny. Because it's like, I've met a lot of Asian guys where I thought, oh, you're cute, you're cool, you're funny, we're having a good time. And then it's like, okay, what happened? And then like they say stuff, and it's like, I don't get like the myth that, I'll get into that another video, the myth about Asian men. And I'll use some scientific research that I find on that, but it's always interesting. Why are the Asian men saying no to dating? I don't know. But if you can answer that question, subscribe and all that good stuff, and let me know and make a comment. Bye.